jam! Hello again and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 488 of the Mana Pool. And with a number that high, you don't need to pay attention anymore.
Thank goodness for us.
I'm sorry, what? I am Chewy. I tell the bad jokes. Thank goodness I have these other dorks to either snicker at them or to ignore me completely. Dorks, what?
Huh? Who
are you?
What? I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler. I'm here to talk a lot. I'm also the tangent master. So then I will talk about other things. Squirrel!
They have those, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not nearly... Darn you, unstable. Fooling me once again. Again. Hey,
Go to jail. I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy.
Again.
And I laugh at all the bad jokes. Well, okay, not all of them, but enough to count.
Yeah.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And the lizard in the fish aquarium beside of me is molting. Well, not molting, he's shedding.
Ew. Wait, is that good or bad for him?
I would say good because he was turning white, and I'm going, I think that's bad for a gecko. And then his skin started coming off, and I was like, oh, never mind. That's not something to be terribly concerned about anymore.
Oh, good. I would just like to say, for the record, I just, in the last, minute and a half, had a massive revelation. I need to get me a fidget spinner.
Why?
Because I'm sitting here twirling a pair of scissors. Go over there. Jesus. Okay, it's out of my reach now.
I would consider the fidget spinner to be probably moderately safer.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't try to eat it and get lead poisoning or whatever.
I don't think I'll do that.
That is not a challenge.
I'm slowly running out of snacky foods, so you never know. Anyway, so yes, hello, dear listeners. We took last week off because here in America it was Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Thanksgiving steak with my old man. How about you guys?
I made a turkey and some stuffing, both in and out of the turkey. And people say to be careful about putting the stuffing in the turkey, which is definitely true because you're exposed to more things like salmonella. But as long as you cook it the whole way through, it's delicious. And some green bean casserole. And pies. Couple pie.
Wait, some what? I heard my brain heard gray bean casserole, and I'm like...
Green bean casserole with the fried onions on top. And no, Carrie had gravy, Sam had gravy, I didn't have any gravy, and nobody had any crumbs. Yes.
I'm gonna guess that was supposed to be cranberry sauce, but you blinked out weirdly.
Cranberry sauce. Yes.
So what you're saying is your family did Thanksgiving the communist way.
If it's the right way, then yes. Comrade.
Fair enough.
I was up in the mountains with a bunch of my mom's family, and there were many, many, many things cooked for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
We stayed in the area. We kind of sort of had Thanksgiving with my folks at K&W, but really what it was with the kids being out of school, I took Trevor to the Greensboro Science Center and got to see the new dinosaur exhibit, which is really cool. And then Black Friday, we went to the zoo, which was awesome because you know how many people were there in the morning?
No.
We almost had the zoo to ourselves, except for maybe like 5 other families there until around noon. And then people started showing up. There were no crowds. It was great.
That does sound pretty great. Because the zoo sucks when it's crowded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Like, there's an actual limit to how many people you can have at the at least the Ashburn Zoo here in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And once you cross that limit, it stops being fun and starts being work.
Yeah, because if you want to see the animals, you have to sort of like push and claw and like elbow your way in. And we didn't have that at all. You could have just sat there and stared at the animals for like 30 minutes. You could have looked at each other and been like, "Sup? Yo, I'm good. How about you?" And we could have had a conversation. Just the two of us.
Wow. That sounds nice. So, dear listeners, apologies for all of this happiness here at the beginning. We will get right to the misery momentarily, but we had to start off on a happy foot.
Yes.
And what's better than meals and trips to the zoo and whatnot with family? Well, it depends on who your family is, but in our case, a few things are better than that. So we're going to address the recent ugliness first, and then move on to the recent silliness that is unstable. So, real quick, for those of you that don't know, oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
So on the Friday after Thanksgiving, the noted cosplayer Christine Sprankle announced on Twitter that she was leaving Magic cosplay and the Magic community in general, and she pointed she said the reason for this was let's call him a content creator, because he does, at the most base definition of it, create content. MTG headquarters or unsleeved media. And we'll just call him Jeremy because that's his real name. And this is not the first time that this person has been in the center of some sort of community drama, but this is the worst time. And in the wake of this announcement by Christine, who, to my knowledge, has not returned to Twitter, although I guess I could verify that real quick. But, in the wake of this, the Magic community rose up in anger, let's be honest. And yeah, it's been a bad few days to be
just anger in general.
Yeah, it's been a bad few days to be a person
to pay attention.
Yeah, to be a person who is deep in the online Magic community. So rather than give lots and lots of, I don't know how to do. On Monday Night Magic, we stuck to the news and then we editorialized. But here we're much more freeform and happy. So I don't know exactly how to go about this.
I think Dirk had the best idea as far as discussing. If we want to discuss our personal thoughts, we can, but more speculate a bit on the community's reaction and what this says about us as a community. Anything you want to say about it before we move on to the next topic? But, still fairly freeform. So
fair enough. So, of course, people immediately began calling for Wizards to ban Jeremy from playing in sanctioned tournaments.
Which is really all they can do. They can't ban him.
I don't even think they can do that.
Well, if he has violated some kind of DCI code of conduct or something, then yeah, they'd be fine too.
But the effect that would have on him, as he has stated himself, is minimal because it'd be like banning me from playing Magic. I'll be like, all right, I guess I won't go to that pre-release.
Yeah.
Because I very rarely actually play Magic these days, and even less in a sanctioned format. Or formats, a sanctioned tournament environment.
He's still capable of putting out his thoughts on YouTube, on Twitter, on other social media platforms. So I think one of the reasons that people want the DCI and Wizards to ban him is as a symbolic gesture. Yeah. But again, what does it actually accomplish? I thought it was interesting that over the weekend he put out there that he fully expected to be banned on Monday. And that when it happened, it would be, I want to be very careful, I don't want to misquote him, but something to the effect of it would demonstrate how everyone's out to get him. And then...
yeah, it would put a feather in the cap for his position.
Yeah. But then it didn't happen. In my opinion, it's kind of like when you push someone at school and then you turn to your friends and you say, I fully expect the principal to get upset with me and call my parents. Yet that's what's going to happen, but no, that didn't happen on Monday. So what does that what does that mean? Does that mean anything for him? Should he be grateful, or should he just, what, And then a little while ago, he's put up on Twitter that he expects that they are saving his banning for Friday, and I'm like, are you just going to keep calling this so that if it eventually does happen, you can say, see, or
Stop clock, etc., etc.
Exactly, cold shot, kind of, sort of, or is he trying to minimize what he perceives to be damage to his reputation?
Sorry,
I'm not
listeners.
sure. What happened?
There was a system noise that they heard because
Oh.
I accidentally. I was trying to get my microphone levels up in case I needed to cough, and I misclicked. Sorry.
So, I for one think the community's reaction to this has been particularly interesting because of the spectrum of responses. You have some people that have gone against Jeremy personally and have, in my opinion, perhaps gone too far because
and are not helping.
They're not helping. And Tulare Community College, the professor on there specifically said, don't attack him personally. This doesn't promote anything to do that. And then, some people ignore that. Some people want to attack him because they feel violated. They feel like he's misrepresenting things. Other people then attack right back. And then you do have some people that are more taking a step back and trying to be rational and trying to not lower themselves to the standards that some people are showing. Some people feel like you have to fight fire with fire. And the only way to catch people's attention is if they're going to be mean to you, you need to be mean to them. And I get that because the thought is there, you have to make it real for them. You have to make them understand it's not okay to attack people and hurt people that way. I get that. I'm more side with the people that say, if someone is attacking you or someone that you care about, attacking them back does not necessarily make things any better for anyone. All you're doing is validating the worldview that, yes, this is just what people do. This is what happens, and just grow a thicker skin or fight back or whatever. That's the point. Is not to subject yourself to abuse, and it's not to abuse people back. The point, in my opinion, to not abuse people in the first place. But But you do have people saying that, and I linked this to the guys, and I'm sure Chewie will put a link in the show notes or on the website, or both, or neither. Hopefully, that there were several professional Magic players that signed this open letter from members of the professional Magic scene to the Magic community at large, and very, very well known names here. Basically talking about, and you can read it for yourself, and I encourage you to read it for yourself, but talking about one of the great things about Magic is its appeal and inclusivity. Anyone, regardless of age, gender, race, or orientation, can play and love Magic. Everyone should be able to engage the game however they see fit, whether it's playing casually with friends at home, competitively Grand Prix, blah, blah, blah. I'll let you read the rest. Their point is not, let's attack someone that doesn't agree with you. Let's go after this one person that's making life miserable. Their point is, we should all be part of a single welcoming community. And I think professional players get a little bit of flack sometimes because they are perceived as being cutthroat. They're perceived as being results oriented. They're card sharks. They're here to make money off the game, and they're not in it for the fun, anything like that. And this was an outstanding response for them to say, a very human response to say that we care about other people. We do give an F what you think about, and what you think about each other, and how we feel about each other. And that made me feel really good about that. So I've been rambling for a little bit, but I guess my main point, is that I feel like the community has responded in a great number of ways, and some, in my opinion, are better and healthier than others. But this in and of itself, the fact that you have some people supporting Jeremy, some people attacking him to some degree or not, and people all over the spectrum to me, is actually a sign of how inclusive Magic is. That you have these differing viewpoints. A lot of people are saying, don't push out Jeremy just because he disagrees with you. And I agree to a certain extent that we want to be able to tell people, voice your opinions. I think we can take it too far, but I think the fact that there are so many differing opinions on this is an interesting phenomenon in and of itself. And isn't it interesting that we have people with so many different viewpoints, whether we agree with them or not, that are all involved with this game that we like? And I'm going to be quiet.
Well, I don't believe that last part, but
Yeah, no, it's very possible to have an incorrect opinion.
no, I meant when Brian said he's going to be quiet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And yeah, I mean, it is possible to have an incorrect viewpoint, but
True.
you shouldn't. Yeah, I the way that I personally am handling this, and I apologize to the people that listen to Monday Night Magic already, is I am ignoring this one asshole because he doesn't matter. He's the catalyst for all of this, but he's not the problem. As I said on Eminem, he's a symptom of the greater problem in the community at large, where anytime there's a woman on camera in tournament coverage, the Twitch chat turns into a bunch of raving idiots. Like, that's not good. And for people in Twitch chat to think that that's a good thing to do. Like, if someone transgendered is on camera, then it shouldn't suddenly, the Twitch chat shouldn't suddenly turn into a bunch of horrible assholes. Like, that's not right.
I've seen this phenomenon myself as well, and it's like you see these comments, and it's just, how can you really? It's disgusting, and the moderators try and remove them as quickly as they can. But
oh, are there moderators in these things now? That's nice.
Well, they try.
I haven't actually watched any tournament coverage with chat open in literal years because there used to not be moderators.
I keep Twitch chat closed unless I'm watching like you or another person where the chat is only going to be people that I actually know and friends of people I actually know in real life.
I like to have it open sometimes because it can be difficult, depending on the size of the screen, to follow some of the plays. And because, a lot of times the players are either muted or it's very hard to hear them speak. The intricacies like switching turn phases can really be lost. And sometimes if something seems really weird, I need only look at the chat and people are saying, wow, that was out of sequence, or no, this is how this works, and da-da-da-da. And then, somebody shows up on there that people think are attractive or not attractive, or looking or behaving in a way that's counter to what they expect. They get very vocal about it. Not at all gracious sometimes. A lot of them are not that way, but unfortunately it is the loudest voices that tend to get heard. I think that's an important message as well, is that most people, I honestly believe most people that play Magic are not out to hurt anyone's feelings, are not out to discriminate against anyone else, are there just to have a good time with a fun game. And unfortunately, you get some very vocal, prominent people that, for better or for much, much worse, are seen as examples of the community as a whole. And that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think? Or do you not have anything to say?
Well, I'm not sure if I have anything to build directly off of what you were just saying.
Take it in a different direction if you want. I am not the dictator.
Yeah, one thing that just comes up very often in discussion about these kinds of things, and it's just really aggravating to see, is a type of response that's this is basically how the response goes. It's like, oh well, this person was really just expressing their opinion, which they're entitled to. And this is a free country, so you need to back off. And I've been thinking about this quite a bit earlier in the week, and I came to kind of a realization. Part of the reason it's so aggravating to see that kind of response is because it's just completely irrelevant. It's way off topic. If we were saying, hey, it should be illegal to be a toxic jerk, and we need to start arresting all of the toxic jerks instead of honoring their right to free speech, yeah, then that might be a valid reply to what the conversation is. But it isn't. That's not what anyone is trying to discuss. The subject at hand is that it should be socially unacceptable to be such a toxic jerk, and that we need to start calling out the toxic jerks on their nonsense instead of just tolerating their just destructive antics as if it were something we were all okay with and we're willing to live with for some reason. Maybe because we hate ourselves. I don't know. That's one thing that really gets me, and I see it from people who I think are otherwise intelligent, and I start to wonder about them. Like, honestly, I'm not making a joke. But no, it's not about people expressing their opinions. It's how people should and should not be treating one another in a public space, or even a private space, or any space. It's not an issue of legality or what is technically allowed. It's an issue of morally what should and should not be done. And yeah, morals are touchy, and people are going to have disagreements on that. But I think there are basic right and wrongs that exist.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
running around and stabbing people at random, I think we can all agree that that's wrong. And if there are people who
get
like
an email from that one guy, it's like, well,
yeah, if you're that one guy who thinks that running around and stabbing people is honestly fine as long as they don't die, then please just stop listening to my show, okay? Please.
Yeah, I don't want to get into any liability for any actions you may or may not be taking vis-a-vis a knife, and testing to see how sharp it is on people.
Yeah. So while there are lots and lots of gray areas, the basic assumption here is that we should all treat each other with at least a modicum of decency in a public space. If you want to, when you get in the car with your buddy, say horrible, terrible things about other people, go for it. But if you're standing in public where that person can hear you, maybe you shouldn't do that. And when I say maybe you should do that, I mean you definitely shouldn't do that.
yeah.
But, like, we're not here to attempt to make you all follow Robert's rules of conduct. I don't even know who Robert is. To be honest, I probably wouldn't like Robert.
Or he's a tool.
We're going to get an email about that one for sure.
Some Robert's going to be like, hey.
Yeah, not you, Robert. You're cool.
That other one.
Yeah,
we're going to get an email from some hardcore debate club nerd. It's like,
but
I tried to do debate for like a minute until I figured out there were rules, and it wasn't just trying to like argue with people. I kid you not. I really didn't know the rules going in. I lasted a session. I'm like, nope, peace.
I'd like to have an argument.
It's funny that I'm a lawyer now.
Now you know the rules.
We don't follow Robert's Rules of Order in the courtroom. We're a little beyond that. Take that, Robert. I agree with Mike and Chewy. There are definitely right and wrong. And I think in some cases it's okay. I don't want to get preached. And there are lots of people with different beliefs and religions and non-religions and whatever you want to believe. I'm using mine as an example because it's a go-to I have. It's called the Golden Rule, and the basic premise is the number one commandment, not even in the 10 Commandments, even more important than that, is treat others the way you want to be treated. It's short, it's simple, it's to the point. And I think, honestly, while I have not studied lots of world religions, I did take one class in college a million years ago. I think there's some form of this in most religions, as well as, rules of ethics in most workplaces. Treat people, if you want to be treated well, treat other people well. You put in what you get out. You are what you eat, etc., etc.
These are not hard concepts, people.
And I wonder if sometimes, I'm not speaking about Jeremy, I wonder if some people expect to not be treated well. They expect to be ridiculed. They expect to be judged. And they feel like if they get in there first, then they have taken the power for themselves. Because they know that's what other people are going to do to them. They know it on some basic level. And it's really unfortunate that their life has led them to believe that is what's going to happen. Because then it can be very difficult for those people to grow and learn to trust that other people won't do that to them.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens.
So, hey Dirk, did you have anything to throw in about this?
My only thing is that Mike, you guys really should have thrown me in first before you let Mike, essentially steal the spotlight and everything. But my sense
Mike
on
and
it
all his
is,
spotlight stealing.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to follow Mike with this.
It is.
But
Why do you think I
my
was
thought is that we all like Magic because it's a fun game and there is a great community. And it saddens me a lot when someone quits because the community itself, or I don't want to say the community, parts of the community are so non-inclusive that if you don't fit their mold and you can't play, and that they're toxic to people wanting to play. And we've talked about this before when we talked about people who are toxic to any community, the haters and all that we talked about less than a month ago. Just people want to play this game because it's fun. They don't want to be in the community where if you don't meet their specifications of who people who are allowed to play this game are, that you can't play, so we're gonna ostracize you and ridicule you and all that. That's it's bullying is what it comes down to, and that's not a socially accepted norm at all, and it's harassment and all that in addition. But it makes me sad that someone left because of this. There are people. I used to play Halo online and everything. I left because one of the reasons being I kind of got tired of listening to all the trash talk, the toxic community there. And I really don't want the Magic community to fall into that. I don't want the gaming community to fall into that trap. And again, it makes me very sad to know somebody left, someone who was passionate about it. That she enjoyed to making costumes and getting this bringing a little bit of a mainstream vibe to it. Sort of it
Yeah.
as an art. And we forced her out.
What she did, Christine Sprinkle's work actually elevated Magic's profile and, like Dirk said, even mainstream air quotes mainstream among sci-fi and fantasy people respectability, because it had never really had something like that before in any grand sense. And she led the way and people started following her and a lot of cool new stuff started happening.
Yeah. And then essentially people in the community chased her off. It's the same thing like when we talked about gamers that, I really like this game, and then all of a sudden people are toxic to it, and then they chase them away. We are so some parts of us are so set on this is what the community is, that anyone who doesn't fit into that, they can't be part of our community, when that's not the purpose of it. It's a game that's a lot of fun. Let's bring our friends, let's bring family. I don't know how Brian feels about this, but I'm kind of scared because I have no idea if Penny will ever be interested in Magic. If she's not, that's fine. If she is, I'm kind of scared for her in reality, because I do not want her to get invested in a game that she finds fun. She likes playing with us, with me, her brothers, whoever, and then for people to harass her about it. Because if it's something she likes and she finds fun, then that's something I don't want her to have taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of my view on that is, I fully support someone's right to free speech. If you don't agree with somebody, then it does not take harassment and belittling to say, I don't, this person is, this person does this. I don't really agree with it for this and this reason. If you don't feel that way, then you have your opinion of it. But this is my 2 cents, and that's it. It does not need to be this person is and go into lots of expletives and all that, and then not say something whenever community members and all that go off the deep end because of your thoughts and your opinions on it. For us, none of us want anyone we don't want anyone to get hate. We're that's not who we as the Mana Pool are. Is we want our listeners and our followers to be like, all right, let's go and hunt this person down and send hate mail. That's not who we are. Everyone has their rights. Everyone has the right to free speech. We just ask that you guys reflect on the community and think of ways to improve it, not degrade it. And that's what we think. At least that's what I think. And I know these guys agree with that. And that's sort of my final thoughts with it.
Hey, Dirk.
Yes, sir.
I think you did a real good job of following Mike.
Yeah, actually, I think we may have to have you follow Mike all the time now.
Yeah, right?
And then people will be like, "Who's Mike?" No, not that Mike didn't raise some good points as well. So,
Yeah.
So, like,
I've had this thought as well. Sam hasn't shown a whole lot of interest, in Magic, but you know what she has been playing a little more of lately is the Pokemon trading card game. To the point that I went by Lucky's and asked, "Hey, can I have some basic energy, which is basically like your lands, so she can build her own decks?" And he's like, "Sure." And he gave me some, and I was like, "All right, how much?" He's like, "Take it." And I'm like, "Sweet," because Lucky's an awesome guy. And I've also had that thought. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff to think about with that. Like when she goes, if she ever decides to go to an event, is she going to feel nervous? Is she going to feel like she can compete on the same level as other people? Is that going to diminish her love of the game? All of these concerns you have to think about already, on top of the fact that, is she going to be subjected to treatment that other gamers don't have to worry about? And, while I know it happens, I am not debating that at all, and I think it happens a lot more than we hear about, because for every person that speaks up about it, there's 10 more that would just rather not deal with it at all and not deal with the attention it brings. At the same time, I have, again, one of my takeaways from everything that's happened is the outpouring of concern and support from Wizards and from individual gamers at every level. And I guess I have to hope that, again, there are more decent people out there than rude or sexist or belittling. Even though those people are louder and you hear from them a little more because, hey, look, my opinion, I want to believe that most people that are people in general, but that play Magic and play these sorts of things are welcoming. I feel like Magic in general is is very inclusive, because look at some of the people that do play from different backgrounds. It's played all over the world. Wizards tries to be very open to different concepts as far as gender identity and sexual orientation and cultural background. And I think people really appreciate that. I've been playing Magic now since I met you guys. And although I don't go out to tournaments a whole lot, I have to say that far and away, whether I'm going to a pre-release or an FNM, I've gone to Grand Prix, I've gone to Pro Tour qualifiers and all that. The vast majority of people, over 95% at least, have been very positive, fun people. Whether they beat me or not, most of them beat me. So I suppose in reference to your question, talking about the girls, it makes me nervous to think that there are people out there that would belittle her for no other reason than just something basic about herself. But I truly hope and believe that they are a vocal minority, and that there's enough should in place that should she, first of all, she would hopefully not encounter, and then if she did, that she would be able to get through it and still have enough enjoyment of the game that it wouldn't ruin it.
Yeah.
Fact is, she shouldn't have to. She shouldn't have to put up. But if she does, then I hope she'll be okay. I have this general inclination to be a helicopter parent and control most of my daughter's life. So relinquishing control and opening her up to possible negative experiences is, the thought of it gives me a heart attack. But
no dying, first rule.
Yeah. But, at a certain point, you gotta let him go and see what happens.
Yeah. So I would like to finish off with a small anecdote. So there is a local player, at least he used to be, I don't know, that I cannot stand. Just the sight of him in the shop at a pre-release or something makes me just angry.
Yep.
I really don't like him. I have tried, I hope, that over the course of the 10 years we've been doing the show, that I've never called him out by name. I know that in recent years I haven't. But there's just one guy that I just cannot stand. I hate playing near him. I desperately hate to play against him, and it always happens. And Mike also shares this viewpoint.
Rage!
But hopefully he doesn't know that. Because while that is my opinion, that I really don't like this guy, and I really just, his presence irks me, I don't stand up and say, that guy sucks! Because, well, I mean, why would I? What good does that do? Because it's not that he is a jerk, necessarily. I just think he might not know any better.
Yeah, I think one time we were talking about it, and I said something along the lines of, "He's not a scumbag on purpose. That's just how he is," or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's ultimately harmless. He's just mega annoying.
Yeah. It's not like a different guy who I don't think plays locally anymore.
Actually, a bad person.
Yeah, who is actually kind of scummy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about there too.
Yeah, you do. But he's actually kind of scummy and will definitely try to scam a win off of someone that doesn't know better. And like even at a pre-release, and is very sleazy, and that's on purpose. Like this guy that I can't stand is a different case. I don't think he understands that what he does is annoying. And no one's ever pointed it out because it's just how he is. I don't think it's going to change because, like I said, he's not doing it on purpose, as far as we can tell. So I haven't loudly proclaimed how much I don't like this guy or how much he sucks or anything like that. I've never called him out on the show. Like, it's just because that's wrong, but I'm still free to not like him. It's fine if you can't accept that transsexual women are women. Sure, you can think that all you want. And that's your opinion, but do you really need to stand up and proclaim loudly, I don't think you people are women? What is wrong with you? No one cares what you think, except for you. And that's the big thing here, is it's self-importance and jealousy. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like when other people, well, in the case of Jeremy here, I fully believe that it's jealousy. He goes after the people that are getting the attention that he feels he should be getting. The two magic YouTube channels that are bigger than him are his two favorite targets. A girl who all she does is play dress up and walk around is way more popular than me. Oh no, let me tear her down. Shut up, idiot. Like, it's fine for him to feel those things. I have felt similar things in the past. But I grew up, and hopefully he will. And he will stop loudly being a jerk. Because it all comes down to, it's Wheaton's Law, man. Just don't be a dick. But if you are a dick, you don't get to cry when other people point out that you're a dick. Like
Is
when
this Will Wheaton?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Wheaton's Law is Will Wheaton, and it's don't be a dick. That is Wheaton's Law. And the world would be a better place if everyone just followed Wheaton's Law. And I've said this many, many times. Like, just don't. And if you see someone not following Wheaton's Law, point it out. If they are blatantly doing things like that on purpose, point it out and tell them that's not acceptable. Because that's how you stop this sort of thing. You have to stop it at the ground level. And the example I used on Monday Night Magic was if your buddy is over there playing a game and it's to get into top 8 and his opponent just happens to be female and it's a really close game and he loses and he's all pissed off and he comes over and he throws his cards down and he sits down and he's like, man, I don't know why they let chicks play in here anyway. No, you just say, dude, you're mad, shut up. Because if you say that, if that gets said once and there's no repercussions for it, then that sets a precedent that that's a cool thing to say. That's okay to say.
Mm-hmm.
And no, you have to stop it right there. It's all these little morons who are like, yeah, man, chicks can't play Magic. And that just becomes one of the things that they say. Because we all know it doesn't take much for something to become a thing that you say. Oh, jam. So just don't let, and that's a very basic example that happens. That's not like making anything up that's outlandish. Just, dude, no, you lost because you lost. You know, you didn't top deck the thing you needed or whatever. You know, she had 3 outs, you only had 1, and she drew one of hers. Something, just don't let stuff like that happen. And if we continue to not let stuff like that happen, when you see it, then eventually that just raises the bar to where more and more people don't let themselves get sucked down into that cesspool of blaming and hate and whatever against the groups of people. Like, I don't like this one guy who, I don't know, has short hair, so I don't be like, I don't understand why they let short-haired people in here. That's ignorant and stupid. And of course that's ridiculous. Why would you say that? I have short hair, oh my god. But it's the same as saying women or transgendered people or brown people. It doesn't matter. We're all people. We just want to play, as Dirk said, we just want to play the damn game. I never have understood hate on that level. I just can't. And I don't think I ever will. And I'm happy with not understanding that kind of hate. I'm glad about that. Anyway, can we stop now?
Mm-hmm.
Can we please talk about, so just everyone just be nice to each other, for God's sake. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard.
In theory.
Just be nice. And if you must be a dick, do it quietly, not in public. This isn't censorship. It's just a cry for decency.
There is a difference.
There is a difference. I mean, you can stand up loudly and proclaim, I don't understand why you let women in here. But then you don't get to complain when the store owner throws you out. Because that's also his right. Or her right. And if you say that in a place where the store owner is a woman, then you're an idiot twice.
People think that free speech means that you are able to say whatever you want. Free speech means that the government can't stop you from saying what you want, but it also is under no obligation to protect you from the consequences of your own speech.
Yes.
And yes,
Unless you
FYI,
shout fire in a movie theater.
and I was gonna say there are actually limits on what you can say, but in a very broad general sense, for the most part, you say whatever you want, but what you say matters,
Yeah.
and for good or for bad.
Yeah, that
So-
thing that we all learned when we were kids, that sticks and stones may break our bones, but words can never hurt me, was a lie.
Yeah, no. That's
It-
just something you say to a kid to make them feel better.
Yeah,
Because
it was
you-
mistaken. Words hurt, man. It doesn't matter how much you toughen up. If you are under constant stress and harassment and horrible people constantly just poking at you, eventually it's going to get through no matter how tough you are.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. And it's not like this is new. People have been leaving Magic for crap like this for a long time. It's just now the community is very much aware of it, and we all have a chance to make things better. All of us. And it's going to take all of us. And especially Manapool listeners, I know you guys are the best ones out there because I've been privy to others and they're not.
And you guys are awesome to meet whenever we get to meet you in public.
Yeah, this including that one of you that's met Dirk.
Yeah, you know who you are.
So all right, let's stop. Just be nice to each other. Don't let assholes be assholes in public. Try to stop that sort of behavior when you see it. Be the hero, man. Be the hero. This is the other problem, is that person might think they're the hero by pointing out that person isn't what I think they should be. That they're not the hero. But if you say, "Hey, shut up and be nice," okay, well now you're the hero. It's fine. All right, unstable. For God's sake.
Unstable. So
This whole situation is unstable. Jesus.
it is ironic. But so is this the whole set? I feel like this is the whole set, right?
I think it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to start off by talking about an infinite combo. Because I saw this and I was like, I realize this is an unset, but still. So I'm going to take two things and smush them together. So I'm going to talk about a host and then an augment.
Okay.
So the host is the ordinary pony. For 2 and a white, it's a 2/3 horse. It's a common. And the ordinary part, of course, is when it enters the battlefield. And then the effect is a blink effect. You may exile target non-horse creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Keep in mind that when you augment, this is still going to be a horse no matter what the front half is. It's going to be like a rhino horse or whatever. So, again, when this effect goes off, you blink something. And when you blink it, it comes back immediately. It's not until end of turn, right?
Right.
So then later I saw an augment card. Half squirrel, half whatever. It's an uncommon in green. It is a creature, squirrel. It has augment of a single green, and it gives the creature -1/-0. So it's going to lower the power because it's a squirrel. And it changes the trigger to whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield.
Okay.
So when you have a half squirrel, half pony,
Oh.
yes, you blink something and return it, and that causes a trigger where you blink something and then return it, which causes a trigger. And all you need is something with another enters the battlefield effect. And
Yeah.
half squirrel, half pony,
this is going to have
half
so
pony,
many
man.
infinite combos.
And I'm sure there's more here. And again, it's a silver bordered set, so it's kind of like, who cares? But I saw it and I was like, did they really do that? I mean, and it's green-white. It's not... And the augment card, which you have to play the host card first, is only a single green. And it's a common and an uncommon.
If I remember correctly, in the FAQ, I can't remember the full...
The FAQ, AQZ, whatever, stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that.
That Mark Rosewater wrote. He officially, I think he said, okay, I'm going to add some errata to the pony that says you can't use it on something else you've already blinked this turn.
Really?
Basically, yeah, if I remember correctly from the FAQ. Because
Okay.
that was one of the questions.
That's Okay, well, I don't blame anybody that doesn't read that. So, I mean, I'm not saying ignore the rules, but until you said that, I had no idea. So if I'm just
Rules, air quotes.
well, if I'm opening the cards, I'm just playing the set.
Yeah.
So, okay. So anyway, I just want to get started with that. Plus, again, as we talked about last time, I hope we talked about this before Dark left. I just love Augment in general because it's just silly. It's just silly. I also love that they put in, believe it or not, I think it's a small thing, but I love that they put in adorable kitten because we already had half kitten, half whatever. So, oh no, I'm sorry. We had adorable kitten. They put in half kitten, half whatever. So you can have a half kitten, half kitten. And that, it's simple, but I'm just like, yeah, okay.
And half kitten is actually a really good card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
okay.
a-
Wait,
it's a
half kitten,
2/3?
half kitten is a 2/3 that says whenever you're dealt damage, roll a 6-sided die and you gain life equal to the result.
Yeah.
That's pretty
which
good.
means- Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it means that there's really no point in attacking with anything that's not going to do at least 2 damage. And chances are even that will be negated.
And they'll probably gain life from it,
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah.
or multiple things that get through because it just triggers when you're dealt damage instead of triggering on each.
Right.
All the
Whenever
combat
a
damage will go at the
source,
same
yeah.
time, so you just roll 1 die, but still.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So does that mean if you attack with like 6 1/1s, you get to roll 6 times?
No,
No,
Mike's
oh,
just saying
no.
Mike's saying the opposite.
That's what
of
I was
that.
trying to get at.
Okay.
If that would be whenever a source deals damage to
Whenever
you.
a source. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This-
Snakes for the win.
As always.
Because that I was just thinking, oh, if it did on every single one of them, you would never want to attack with anything less than like a 5 or a 6 or something like that. That you're like, the odds of you getting those are not as great.
So what do you think would be a funny combination? For example, I'm going to throw out there just in terms of names. We've got a shaggy camel and we've got a numbing jellyfish. And I kind of want to see, oh, well, I can't do a shaggy jellyfish, can I? Oh, that's
No,
too
they're
bad.
both hosts. Yeah.
That's too bad for a second there.
You
I like
could
the
do
humming
a-
camel.
You could do a serpentine.
Oh, the humming camel is very good. The humming camel is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
The
Where-
humming camel turns into a
wait,
5/6 with flying.
What's humming?
The
humming-
hummingbird.
Where
Yeah.
is that?
Humming
It's
in white.
White.
It's in white. Okay.
So it's
here
a
it is.
creature bird flying +2/+3 whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures.
Something.
And then Shaggy
got-
Camel is creatures you control get +1/+1, and it's a 3/3 for 4.
Oh, okay. So that'll
So
end up
whenever
as a
you
5,
attack-
So it's a 4/5, and if you attack with 2 or more creatures, it
flying.
gets +1/+1 with
It's
flying.
a 5/6 with flying.
It's a
Oh,
5/6
5/6
with flying that when you attack with it, or when you attack with 2 or more creatures, all your stuff gets pumped.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nuts.
humming camel. Bzzz.
I really like, as far as name goes, the if you have the Labrobot and you augment it with Robo, so you get a Robobot. That one just makes me happy.
Doesn't sound quite far out enough for me.
Oh, like a half kitten is real far out.
I know.
You've got one of those that lives in your house.
I have several of those.
Well,
How
one
about
that's
a
like
s-
a little kitten.
because it has the magic words on it.
Oh god.
Draw a card. The merman is the host that I end up thinking of first whenever I read any of the augment cards.
Do something, draw a card.
Yep.
Mhm.
hmm
I was thinking that with the shark, the half shark, half, and then taking that and be like, well, that's essentially it's a howling mine for you.
Okay, I want to go ahead and tell the listeners, because I brought this up on before the show, but not since we started. I have not really looked at spoilers since the last episode that we recorded. So I saw the half, that spoiler like a day or two later, but for the most part, I have stayed away. And I'm just now reading Angelic Rocket for the first time. And that thing is
What's that?
terrifying.
Or like, is it what?
It's an artifact.
It's an artifact creature. Uh-huh.
It's a host. It costs 8 for a 4/4 host creature angel. It's rare.
Okay.
and it's an artifact. It's an artifact no matter whether it's augmented or not. And it has when this creature enters the battlefield, and this has flying all the time. You may destroy target non-land permanent. So it's already a Vindicate. But then you can change it to anything.
Half shark, half rocket.
Half shark, half rocket.
Run!
Wow. And
You
what's the shark-
can't!
What's the half shark do?
At the beginning of your upkeep, and it also gives +3/+3.
Ooh, so every turn.
Mhm.
And it's like a Sharknado type thing now.
I really like
So-
multi-headed rocket.
Multi-headed rocket? Which one's multi-headed? I know
That's the green one. That's a Hydra. At the beginning of each end step, if you roll a die this turn, and it's +4/+4.
Mhm.
But I just like multi-headed rocket.
I like steam-powered rocket.
Steam-powered rocket. Yeah,
Oh, dude, the half squirrel, half
Because
rocket.
the steam-powered... the steam power... Oh, the half squirrel, half rocket is broken.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Because,
Yeah.
No, because half squirrel, half whatever doesn't say whenever you get one. It says whenever non-creature token enters the battlefield. Period.
Non-token
you're a
creature.
non-token creature. So your opponent is going to be like, if I play a creature, he gets to Vindicate. What the actual
Negative return.
I wonder what I'm going to destroy.
I will pay 6 mana for you to, and it's dead.
Well, that's almost as bad as the Serpentine rocket. That's whenever a land enters the battlefield under your
under your
control.
control?
I play this land to blow up your dude. Play.
I mean, it really is just like I literally dropped a mountain on you.
And already, this conversation is so much better than the last one we had.
Oh god.
Oh man,
Oh, the Serpentine Crocodile.
what's the crocodile do?
Crocodiles search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So it's whenever a land enters the battlefield, search your library for a land
And put it, and does it go into your hand?
into your hand. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's
All right.
Wild Crocodile is the
Wild Crocodile
Gotcha.
is the.
Thank
is the
you.
host card in green.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, we could do this all day. Like this is great.
Oh yeah,
Well, I
Well,
mean,
this is awesome.
Augment is my favorite part of the set. I mean, there's some contraptions are interesting, but Augment is just so crazy.
Hmm.
I love the card. There's a card in green called Clever Combo for 1 and a green, sorcery, uncommon. Search your library for a host card or a card with Augment, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. At Crossbreed Labs, heads or tails has nothing to do with coins.
Ah,
And you've got a ram, zebra, and a rooster,
leopard.
leopard, cheetah, something like that.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
don't know.
Well, one that does not have to do with those is it Phoebe, head of sneak?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
For
one of
one
the,
blue and a black.
yeah.
She's a legendary creature, human spy that's mythic and is a 2/3. Phoebe, head of sneak, cannot be blocked by creatures with flavor text.
Ah,
For 2 blue and a black, Phoebe permanently steals target creature's text box. So the reminder text that creatures loses all rules, text, flavor text, and watermarks. This creature gains them, and the flavor text says this space intentionally left blank.
holy crap! She snatches text boxes. That's hilarious. Oh my god, that makes me so happy.
Mike, did you read the Magic Story yesterday?
Yes, I did.
I found it funny that the Grand Calculatron actually started out as a person. They just kept changing parts of their body until it's a giant calculator.
He's more machine than man now.
Yep. First thing he replaced was he replaced one of his hands with a toaster, so he would always have toast.
I mean, that's probably better than guitars or laser beam.
So
Never get tired. You just sit right down.
Sit
on the
right
bucket.
down on the bucket.
So, do we know what all the modes are for the Urza Planeswalker?
No,
think
I was about to ask Mike.
I don't think
that-
they've switched that on yet.
no, it doesn't turn on until I think the 8th,
Yeah.
which then we'll find out.
Okay.
So explain what you mean by that question there, Brian.
Well, there's this planeswalker here, Urza, Academy Headmaster. Wah, wah, wah. He costs Wooburg, one of each color. He's a legendary planeswalker, Urza. He's mythic. He comes in with 4 loyalty, and he has 3 abilities. +1. Head to askurza.com and click the +1 to see what that does. I wonder if it can change. I wonder if it's like randomly decided.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Is that what that would be?
All right.
That has
Second
to be.
ability is the -1 ability, and you go there and you click the -1, and he's got a -6. But we don't know what any of them do.
Yeah, so every turn when you click it, you have to go to askurza.com and click +1 to see what it says. But you don't get to do it first. You have to do what it says after you've already paid for it, and that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have absolutely no idea what's going to
Nope.
happen until you do that.
Yeah. It has been made clear that, the effects are either good for you or bad for your opponent. And there are some that might, happen to accidentally do nothing if the board state is a certain way.
Yeah.
If something says gain control of an artifact, but there aren't any artifacts, you'll just be like, well, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of hope, or I'm glad that there's not like an accidental +1 sacrifice all your lands. What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But yeah, that's really cool. Now, everyone, be sure that when you do that, you put your phone down on the table. And, be like, just hit it and move your hand so everyone can see it. Don't like +1. I don't like that one. And hit it again. Don't do that. Don't be that asshole.
Again, the point of the game is to be fun.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
So what's something
We'll
else?
There was one thing that I wanted to bring up when we were still talking about Hosen augment cards, especially the augment cards. The augment cards represent more of the unspirit of doing things that regular Magic can't do or hasn't been able to do. And I'm not just talking about sticking things together. I'm talking about the actual printing process, where the cards with augment, that art box actually extends all the way out to the actual edge of the card.
Mm.
And stuff like that just wouldn't have been possible in the earlier years of Magic, just with the printing technology that was available at the time.
Mm.
But now it is, and they're able to show it off better and use it for stuff. And maybe they might be able to use the new printing tech for new printing tech like that for real stuff in the future. I mean, we already saw it on the meld cards, on the back of the meld cards, that art box goes all the way to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And when you
Which
fit
was
them together,
awesome.
they fit together all nicely because they were printed right and they were cut right. But yeah, something like that just wouldn't have been possible.
Well, that was one of the things I was wondering, because the augment stuff, that would be awesome to have in a standard set, because it gives the game so much versatility and so much customization that I actually really wish that this was a standard set.
Yeah, it
I
gives
kind of do.
it gives it the sort of flexibility that you usually can't get in a paper game.
Yeah.
Like you could do stuff like that in a digital card game.
Yeah.
Of we'll change this what causes this ability to trigger by casting this other thing, and it just changes the text on the card. But in a paper game, you can't do stuff like that without coming up with silliness like augment, which is it's like the great kind of silliness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to a much less effect, you can get this sort of thing with auras, where you're like, okay, I've got a creature, I'm changing it this way, but it's not the same. It's kind of similar, but it's not exactly the same. I love that you're just literally sticking something on something else. Mike, are you still here? There you are.
I think I got temporarily dropped from the call for a minute.
I thought you did, because you left with like a word on, and I think like it sounded like you were like, and I could hear there was one more word coming.
I think I was saying to something Dirk was saying, but then Dirk cut out in the middle of a word, and I'm like,
Yeah. So.
Oh, well, that was weird.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey, buddy.
Hey. But
dude.
I felt like there was something else I was going to say. Oh, yes. I read something recently that said, I don't know if it's true, that said that Unstable, like the development and other work on Unstable had been done for quite a while, and it was still sitting around while Mark Rosewater and a couple other people were coming up with like a more formal proposal to justify printing it. So there, maybe even as far back as Khans of Tarkir, there have been several other, regular Magic sets that have been released that might have been able to draw on some of the things that they explored when they were doing this.
Huh.
And maybe the meld cards. Well, I know the meld cards came from, Big Furry Monster originally. They've come out and said that. But I wonder if they were also connected to what they had started to explore doing with the augment things and the ideas they started having about how to actually print them.
No idea. Given that you're not sure where that came from,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say.
Well, it was an article I read on Hipsters of the Coast where the author made that comment that it had been in the bag for a long time. I just don't know how accurate that is.
Fair enough.
Because I know that Mark Rosewater also talks about a bunch of other stuff on his like Tumblr and whatever that I never read because I don't pay attention to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, he accidentally let the cat out of a bag about an upcoming rules change for next year that I knew nothing about until some rando on Tapped Out referenced it when they were answering a rules question. I'm like, what?
What rules change is that?
It has something to do with Planeswalker damage redirection, but they haven't finalized it yet.
Oh, I think that was originally let out of the bag watching people play Arena in the original Arena reveal.
Oh.
Because
yeah. Okay, because of the way some cards were templated or something.
Yeah, it's templated like deal X damage to any target, and people were like, "What?"
Oh.
But it's possible that Rosewater mentioned something about that ahead of time, and I just missed it because I don't pay attention to that either. So back to the cards. I just found a card that made me super happy.
Which one's that?
It's in red, and it's called the Infinity Elemental.
I saw that one too.
Like, I just read that about the time that Mike said, "Hey, I think I can kick off the call." I was about to say, so let me read this card. And then Mike showed up and screwed up everything. So, I don't know why we let bearded people play this game. You see how ignorant that sounds, people?
Especially with all the people on the call right now.
Yeah, right. Basically, Brian is all you now.
Yes.
So the Infinity Elemental costs 4 and 3 red, and it's mythic, and it's a creature elemental, and its rules it has reminder text that says this creature has infinite power, and yeah, his power and toughness are infinity 5, and its flavor text is it's so infinite that its flavor text says. 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 It's so... And it just goes on and on until it gets very, very small and hits the bottom of the text box.
Mm-hmm.
And the art is suitably trippy, but it's an Infinity 5.
You look into a mirror and there's a mirror behind the mirror, so you see an infinite image.
And that's what it's trying to do here. Or like when you're streaming, this is a thing that I've done. You're streaming this screen, and then you move your streaming software to that screen, and all of a sudden you get the infinite tunnel of that screen. And it's an Infinity 5. If you give it trample, you win. But if someone has a card that says creature deals damage equal to its power to you, you're gonna die.
Infinitely. You won't get to play Magic anymore because you'll still be taking damage.
You better have a blocker is all I'm gonna say. This is why this has to cost 7. Because it might as well say, when it deals damage to a creature or player, that creature or player is exiled. Or destroyed.
Yeah. By the way, that reminds me of a tweet we got.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, I have to go read the card. Where was the booster pack card?
The booster summon or summon the pack,
Summon
it was
the
in
pack.
black.
Summon the pack.
Is in black. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Summon the pack. Summon the pack. Open a sealed magic booster pack. Reveal the cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield under your control. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. We got a tweet that says I can really totally see Mike casting summon the pack, opening a pack of legions, and getting Phage. And I was like,
Yeah.
And I think Mike was the one that said, "Go for Legion."
yeah, Mike is the one that said that.
Good job, Mike.
And on one level, I'll be happy because, hey, Phage. But on the other, I just opened a Phage. I'm just like, on the other level, oh.
There,
By the way,
there
in case you don't know, Phage the Untouchable listener says that essentially if you get her onto the battlefield in any way other than casting her from your hand, you lose.
Yeah.
It literally says that.
Yeah,
Yep.
and she's not an uncard.
No.
Ooh.
So Chewie mentioned a card that made him happy, and I think I mentioned last time that my initial impression of the set, it didn't feel much like other silver bordered sets because there weren't enough in-jokes. But that was fairly early in the process. One card I saw, one of many, I should say, that made me very, very happy was Really Epic Punch. Have you seen this in green?
Color.
It's in green. And for 1 and a green, it's a common. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 if it's a host or has augment. Then it fights target creature you don't control. And that's fine. But, well, I'll let Mike... I want someone that knows why this is significant to talk about the art.
So it started with cons,
Yep.
Yes.
with the Savage Punch, right?
Savage Punch. Yes.
Which was somebody punching a bear.
Which was freaking what's that guy's
The
name?
Teamer guy. The
Can I not remember his name?
something. I'll look it up. But
I
the guy.
opened like 6 copies of him, not on purpose.
You did.
Anyway, why can't I? Oh, come on, I have it. No, I can't waste time on that. Okay. But I should know. Anyway, it's a picture of him.
Conversation too.
Surak.
Yeah.
Surak.
Zurich
There we
Dragon Claw.
go.
There you go.
Zurich Dragon Claw, just punching a bear like in the face, and it's just in the face, and its like tongue is lolling out of its mouth, and
Yeah.
later on Zurich's actual art, you see that he has a very nice bearskin cloak that he wears.
I think the art for Savage Punch was one of the arts that was revealed before they even said what the set was about. They're just like, here's a picture of a man punching a bear. Here you go.
It was actually, and everyone lost their mind because that's great.
But it didn't stop there.
It didn't stop there.
Yeah, and then in the
Dragons, was it Dragons?
Yes.
it was in the alternate future.
Yeah,
Dragon.
in Dragons of Tarkir, we had Epic Confrontation,
Mhm.
which was more different Surak punching the hell out of a dragon. And
in the face.
Yeah, I mean it's a Shoryuken too, man. There's a massive uppercut. There are dragon teeth flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And
And
the
the whole
flavor text on
concept-
that was great. No matter the timeline, some legends still endure. Get it?
Right.
Because we switched up the timeline
Yeah.
and he's still punching dangerous things. Oh my god, great.
Yeah.
And now the art for Really Epic Punch it's like, obviously it's a creature from Crossbreed Labs. It's a combination bear dragon just punching the crap out of a dragon
Yeah.
in the face.
Yeah. And I just love that that's what they chose to do with the art here, because I'm like, ha ha ha. The card itself is fine, but for those that were around for cons, it's just a great little nod. And that's kind of stuff that I expect to see in an unset that really makes it to me, because unsets are for the fans in kind of almost the same way that Time Spiral was. It's
Mhm.
there's lots of neat stuff here, and just practically just straight up funny stuff, like, oh look, it's a half pony, half octopus. But there's also just some stuff for anyone that's been playing for a little while to go, oh, look at that, that's awesome.
It's also worthwhile to note that the +2/+2 doesn't have a specified duration.
Oh.
It just stays.
It just stays.
Mhm.
Gets +2/+2, but it doesn't put counters on it?
Nope.
Oh.
Was that deliberate? I haven't checked the FAQ.
I think so.
Oh, okay, good. Of course, it's an
Yeah,
unset.
I remember it came up in the FAQ. It's on purpose.
The flavor text is, it smarts more than the average bear.
Boo this man.
You need to say it like Yogi. Smarter than the average bear.
Oh my god.
Did you see the death battle between Smokey the bear and the crime dog?
McGruff, yeah, I did watch that. It was silly.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I like the silly ones like that. I like the one that had Chuck Norris in it.
Let's see, what else? Dirk, you got any that have jumped out at you?
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Everythingamajig. It's an artifact. So for 5, it's a rare artifact. For 2 and a tap, move a counter from one permanent onto another. If the second permanent referred to any kind of counter, the moved counter becomes one of those counters. Otherwise, it's a +1/+1 counter. For 3 and a tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. 4 tap, proliferate.
What was that?
Proliferate. So if the second permanent refers to any kind of counter.
So you could move a +1/+1 counter onto, if we were talking about real cards, what was the Kamigawa block, the ones that if they have a counter, then when they die, they come back?
Divinity counters.
The affinity counters.
So you can move a +1/+1 counter off of whatever onto a god card, a Kamigawa god card, and it
A
becomes
Myosian.
a Myosian. Thank you, and it becomes a divinity counter.
Yeah.
The possibilities here are...
Yeah, in case there's nothing around that uses counters for you to move, it's got the option to make one.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I'm
is
trying to
nice.
think. There's at least one Ajani that mentions putting loyalty counter. One of its abilities is to put loyalty counters
Yeah.
on other things. So that mentions a loyalty counter, correct?
Yeah.
So...
Oh yeah, you can't just move a counter onto a permanent or onto a planeswalker and have it become a loyalty counter because it specifically says refers to any kind of counter, right?
Right. So it's
Right.
got to be something like that as Johnny.
Johnny or that weird Gideon.
Right.
Remember that
Where
Gideon
it's-
with the weird first ability where he gave himself extra loyalty for your opponent's creatures?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
So I double checked, and that first ability on Everythingamajig is seems to be exactly the same as Giant Fan. So Everythingamajig is an upgrade to Giant Fan, which is always nice.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And I do have a question.
Okay.
Entirely normal chair. Armchair. You need to explain the first part of it to me.
Have you ever
So
seen the
entirely
card?
normal armchair has no cost. It's
Right.
it's an uncommon artifact that says during your turn, if entirely normal armchair is in your hand, you may hide it on the battlefield. So does that mean you just turn it face down, or is it, you just sort of sneak it in? Like, I'm going to play this creature, and you sort of have entirely normal armchair underneath the card?
Or you can put it under a land or something.
Yeah,
Or
you just got to find a way to hide it.
There was a card.
Because that second ability, 0, return entirely normal armchair to its owner's hand. Only any opponent may activate this ability, and only if he or she sees entirely normal armchair.
Oh my gosh.
So you got to hide it good, otherwise your opponent will throw it back in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason is because for 2 and sacrifice it, destroy target attacking creature. So someone
yeah.
saunters over and sits down in your entirely normal armchair, and it snaps on him. But yeah, the whole point is, like, if your opponent is, like, on his phone for some reason, like looking up a ruling or something, you can slip it out onto the battlefield.
As long as it's your turn, which is interesting.
True.
Because it reminds me a lot of Cheaty Face.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Except Cheaty Face, I don't think, had any timing restrictions. Cheaty Face was actually a card from the last unset. Cheaty Face is an Efreet creature. It's a 2/2 of flying. you may sneak Cheaty Face into play at any time without paying for it. But if an opponent catches you right away, that player may remove Cheaty Face from the game. And that's the Oracle text. They never updated it to include like Battlefield and Exile. I wonder why.
They just don't do that with uncards.
I'm kidding. I know that's exactly why.
Well, some people might be asking that question sincerely.
Sure. Oracle says its actual cost is 3 blue. I always wondered about that, if it was 2 blue or 3 blue.
Yeah, 3 blue. Mr. Cheaty Face is removing one of the symbols.
So the trick with entirely normal armchairs is you have to do it during your turn, and in such a way that nobody catches you doing it.
Yeah. Because if your opponent catches sight of it, they'd be like, wait a minute.
So
You almost got me.
It's gonna be like you're gonna put it with your land when you play your land for the turn, or something. Somehow there will be like a standard way to get it onto the battlefield and hope your opponent's not paying attention.
Or maybe you can obscure it in one of your contraption piles.
Oh yeah,
because the contraptions are on the battlefield when they're attached to the sprockets.
Yeah, some of these just make me laugh. I do like that the art is it's an armchair with looks like a bear cage, or like a bear trap, jaws in the top and bottom part,
which is exactly what it is, which is great. Wait a minute, there was something.
Did we talk about the handy dandy clone machine?
That was the one.
earlier?
Yeah, do that.
The handy dandy clone machine. Cost 3, it's rare, it's an artifact. Pay 2 and tap it. Create a 2/2 colorless homunculus creature token. It must be represented by a unique hand and 2 fingers at all times, or it ceases to exist.
Now, what's really funny about
represented? What does that even mean?
That means you have to have.
It means
someone has to have their hand on the battlefield to represent that creature.
It means you don't have a choice. It means you don't have a choice of what to use to represent the token.
Yeah. And this is one of the times, it doesn't say one of your hands. This is one of the times where if the person next to you is done, you could be like, hey, man.
And there's several of those cards that are like bring in other people. So.
But this one isn't specifically one of them, but it can be. It's a time when like having someone else standing there watching is great, because you can totally get them to be a hand, which means you can still have 2 hands or 1 hand if you're already a homunculus. And what's really funny is if one of their buddies goes, dude, and he's like, what? And he turns around, then now your creature token's gone. So like it's freaking hilarious. Or if at some point you're like, okay, I attack with this homunculus, and you turn your hand and two, because if you look at the art, it's totally like a hand with 2 fingers and a thumb, right? So and you turn your hand, and then you're like, and then like you drop your cards in your hand. You crap. And yeah, you have to get the cards off of the floor while leaving this hand here, or else that creature's not there anymore. It's sort of like shoe tree. It's like it's just ridiculous enough.
Like you're on home base and you're like trying to get the 2 fingers on the edge of the table so you can sort of scoot over to try and pick up that 1 card. Oh, that is such a great card.
There's something similarly silly in the up in black, the skull saucer.
Oh god, just the name.
Go ahead and read that one.
Skull saucer. For 4 black, it's an uncommon zombie head. Okay? It's a 4/1 with flying zombie head, of course. When Skull Saucer enters the battlefield, what? Destroy target creature and put your head on the table. Sacrifice Skull Saucer when your head stops touching the table. And the flavor text is, no body is ready for this kind of power.
Oh, God.
That does sort of sound like another one, Subcontract in black.
Okay, wait a minute. The flavor text on Handy Dandy Clone Machine, we forgot to read. Early testing failed because the clones were all thumbs. Wah, wah. Okay, back to black. What was that?
Subcontract. For 1 black, it's a sorcery that's common. A person outside the game looks at target opponent's hand and chooses a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. So someone rasps by is like, hey, I'm gonna target that guy. I need you to pick a card. I could always imagine, like, if you were playing like a competitive game, like a Friday Night Magic game, and people are huddled around, and you're like, I'm gonna target you with this. You, I need you to pick one of his cards. Just out of randomness, just say you pick a card, sort of thing.
I remember we were talking earlier. Someone had, I think some Wizards person had said that you weren't supposed to be able to pick people who were in the game earlier but had left it, like either because they lost or for some other reason.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the FAQ, Mark Rosewater said, no, you can totally do that.
Yeah,
You can totally get someone who was in the game earlier, but now they're not.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
And that makes a lot more sense to me, because outside the game should just mean outside the game, Someone who's not playing for whatever reason is definitely outside the game, so.
It's true. So, I also love, along similar lines, It That Gets Left Hanging.
Yeah.
For 5 in a red, it's a common elemental horror. It's a 5/4. When It That Gets Left Hanging enters the battlefield, ask a person outside the game to high-five you. If he or she won't, It That Gets Left Hanging gains haste until end of turn. And the flavor text is, give me some skin.
It's funny because you don't want them to high five you.
Yeah, this is going to be the point where I yell across the room at, like, Mike, high five me. And Mike's going to be like, no. Like, yes, thank you. Attack for 5.
Probably my favorite of the get somebody else to help you out cards has got to be Side Quest.
What color's that?
It's in
It's
white.
white.
It's in white.
Yeah. Mike, why don't you tell us what Side Quest does?
So Side Quest is an uncommon sorcery for single white. Target player in a silver-bordered game you can see from your seat gains control of target creature you control until your next turn. At the beginning of your next upkeep, put 2 +1/+1 counters on that creature.
Wow. I bet the FAQ on that card is hilarious. So if it becomes your turn in the middle of their attack, nope, that's mine. Thank you.
Yeah, basically.
And you better hope nothing like blows it up while it's in the other game.
Yeah, right? Dude will be like, thanks, bro. I block with it. Come on, man.
Sadly, he never came back from his side quest. Some side quests are like that, though.
Oh, my God.
Well, just the random thought is, remember when we used to go to the big tournaments?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If there was a big tournament that was one of these, like, that guy over there, I could see your hand here. I want that card.
Animate Library confuses me only because you don't lose the game when it's dead. It's not enough risk reward for my flavor.
Oh, God.
Not risky enough.
It's not lichy enough.
Animate Library for 4 and 2 blue. Enchantment Aura. Rare. Enchant your library. Enchanted Library is an artifact creature on the battlefield with power and toughness each equal to the number of cards in it. It's still a library. If Enchanted Library would leave the battlefield, so if they try to bounce your library to your hand, exile Animate Library instead. So if anything would happen to that library, you're just going to lose the enchantment, and your library is going to go back to just being your library.
Yeah.
Which is, I get why they do it, but it's too bad. Because, I mean,
I mean, to be honest, I would be the one trying to bounce my own library to my hand. Because
Mike.
that would be awesome.
Yes, but let's say your library is like a 2020, which in a limited game only means that's pretty late into the game. So chances are it's going to be even more than that. That seems for 6-man to be really, really, really good. I would kind of like a little more like, oops, killed your library, brah. You know, I feel bad for even saying that word. Sorry. But I mean, it's fun. It's cool.
I really like the blurry Beeble next to it, just because.
Oh, he's the one that's like you see on some of the packaging, isn't it? Or
sure. I don't know.
I don't know.
All over the Wizards website for a while.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. So what's it do? I haven't seen this yet.
Well, he's a 1/1 artifact creature cyborg Beeble for a single blue. He's common. Whenever Blurry Beeble deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. But he has the keyword ability Blurry. And that says, this creature can be blocked only if defending player was wearing glasses as it was cast.
Ah, take that. I'm the only one of us that wears glasses. Nice. I have protection from Blurry. Well, we don't have time to go through every single card here, but I did want to talk about one or two of these contraptions just because they're awesome. And there are actually a couple, I mean, a lot of them are fairly straightforward effects. They have to be because you're getting them every third turn. If they're going to break the game open, that's actually not so good. But there are two mythic ones here. Only, I saw two. I don't know if there's any more, but I saw two mythic ones, and both of them are pretty ridiculous. One is Pet Project. Chewy, do you see Pet Projects? Pet Project?
Hang on, LM yes.
Go ahead and read that.
Okay. Whenever you crank Pet Project, put target creature from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Oh, it's a little zombie cyborg kitty. Oh, that's cute. Question mark?
Brings a whole new meaning to Pet Project.
Huh.
It looks like each faction got a mythic contraption.
Did they? Okay.
Uh-huh.
I saw that one. I
So
saw
there's 5.
Rapid Prototyper. So
What's that do?
I've moved away from it. Somebody else talk about while I look for.
Whenever you crank Rapid Prototyper, create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is the number of artifacts you control.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I found Hard Hat Area. It's a contraption. It's mythic. It's for the Goblin Boom people. Whenever you crank it, you roll 2 6-sided dice, 2, and it assembles a number of contraptions equal to the difference between those results. Okay. Oh,
wow, that's
interesting.
So anywhere between none and 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
And then the next one is Fairy Airy. Whenever you
what? Oh, airy,
Fairy
like
airy.
a bird's nest. Okay, I see it now.
Whenever you crank Fairy Airy, create 2 1/1 blue fairy spy creature tokens with flying, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, that seems good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And then I guess this last one is the BB gun. I don't like it already. And it's the one for the Crossbreed Labs, it looks like. Whenever you crank BB gun, until end of turn, target creature gains pay 2 generic. This creature fights another target creature. Oh, wow.
That's really powerful.
Yeah, that one's nuts. I think that was the first mythic one they showed.
I think I saw, and I don't know if it registered mythic with me, but yeah.
Yeah, and remember those symbols on the contraptions down in the corner, they do count as watermarks.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't want to put them in the text box because they didn't want to obscure the art any further.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So you too can assemble your steam-powered shark and then shoot it with a BB gun and have it fight something.
when you when we read Hardhead Area, that made me remember something that I read somewhere else. I think it was in a Frank Karsten article, where he was suggesting to use more or less on any one of the cards that tell you to roll 2 dice and take the difference between them, to make the effect say roll 3 dice and take the difference between them, and try to figure out what the heck that's supposed to mean.
Oh, God.
And people were responding in the comments with like all these like bizarre advanced mathematical concepts that I haven't heard about in over a decade. So back when I was taking those classes in college, and I'm like, wow,
Nerds.
no one is going to know this.
I mean that in the most respectful way possible, but so.
Hey, Dirk.
Yes.
I need you to go to black.
Okay.
And I need you... Okay, wait a minute. I need you to find Over My Dead Bodies, but not that one. The one above it. And I need you to just read this card.
Masterful Ninja.
Yup.
Oh, I can't find it.
So the Masterful Ninja for 2 and a black. It's a troll ninja that's rare and is a 1/1 with haste. Reveal Masterful Ninja from your hand. Masterful Ninja is on the battlefield and is in your hand until end of turn. For 1 and a black, Masterful Ninja gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Okay, so supposedly, unless I'm being pranked, there's
You probably are.
Unless you're being trolled.
Is that really what it was? Because in the article they kept zooming into there, and they're like, "Do you see it yet?" And I'm like, "No."
I'm sure that's part of the joke. I mean, yeah, my understanding of this joke is that it's the kind of thing where there's a photo of an empty street, and it's like 17th annual Ninja Parade. I think that's the joke here.
Right.
Brian
So this
has
thing
been
is
got.
This thing is always in your hand. Why would you ever pay 3 mana to have it on the battlefield?
Exactly. And what's great is this makes weird things happen. Like, because it's in your hand and on the battlefield at the same time, if they make you discard it, well, it dies.
Yeah.
But it also means it can't be bounced to your hand, because it's already in your hand.
And if it dies on the battlefield, it's still in your hand. So
No, it still goes to the graveyard.
Yeah.
So it goes to the graveyard? Okay.
So it's sort of like enchantment creatures in that, yeah, that means that this many more things can hurt it, but it also makes it immune to some things. It's pretty great. I like the way that past a certain point it stops being useful, but it never stops being funny.
Oh, that reminds me. The augment card next to it, the ninja augment card.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So normally, part of the augment ability is that you have to do it at sorcery speed. So the ninja says you may activate ninja's augment ability anytime you could cast an instant. And then the reminder text for his augment ability says, pay 2 and a black, reveal this card from your hand, combine it with target host, augment only as... Oh, never mind.
Nice.
And it's great because it gives +1/+0 and changes the trigger to whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. So it's sort of like old ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it only pumps the power because it's wanting you to get in there.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is the ninja shushing us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's saying, yeah, shh, don't tell that guy in front of me that I'm about to stab him.
One of the augment cards I thought was really interesting was the zombified augment card.
It's great.
Because it gives the creature +2/+2, creature zombie, uncommon. It has augment of 4 and a black. And it also has another ability, pay 4 and a black, combine zombified from your graveyard with target host. So you can augment from the graveyard.
That's really cool.
And at instant speed, as long as I'm reading that right.
Yeah.
And then its trigger is pay 2 and a black, exile a creature card from your graveyard, do whatever the host wants to.
Yeah, it's not even a trigger. It turns it into an activated ability.
Yes, which most of these are triggers, except for that one and the steam powered, which is pay 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just like how it's very versatile, and you're always like you see zombies, and sometimes one of the thoughts I've had with zombies and Magic is I always thought it was interesting that zombie was a creature type instead of like a class, because anything could be a zombie, you know. So here you can have a zombified man or a zombified
Kitten.
octopus or kitten. That's terrifying.
A little bit, yeah.
Zombified pony.
Yay! That's not the
pony's
pony
awesome.
I wanted.
This pony's awesome.
Oh
So,
my God.
yeah.
I just read the Hoisted Hireling, and now I'm tired.
Hoisted Hireling.
He's in
Where?
black.
What kind?
It's in black.
God. For 2 and a black, he's a 2/1 zombie that's common. Hoisted Hireling has flying as long as it's being held above the battlefield.
Zarv no longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Zarv no longer trusted the kitten posters telling him to hang in there.
There's just so much nonsense going on here. And it's getting late.
Yeah.
And that sucks because we could actually. It's a shame that some jerk faces had to cause a lot of problems in the community and eat up half of our episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, change will come from it. So we'll allow it this time. But ordinarily, I'd say we'll just pick it up next week. But we're not recording next week because I'm not going to be here. So damn. So. Since it's getting late, do we want to knock out like one more card apiece and just call it?
Sure. It's gonna be tough picking out one card, but sure.
Gosh.
Hey, Dark, do you have a card?
I'll go with one that when I saw it, I did laugh a little bit, and I'll go ahead and let that one be my final old-fashioned vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 3 and 2 black. It's an uncommon vampire. It's a 3/3 with flying. Old-fashioned vampire gets +2/+2 and has death touch as long as it's dark outside. Dark outdoors.
Notice that the creature type is spelled vampire the old way.
Mm-hmm. Stalking hard or hardly stalking? Am I right?
All right, I guess for my final card, because I thought about bringing this one up a couple times, is Quark's other thumb.
That is a great one.
For those that don't know, there was a card in Mirrodin called Quark's Thumb, and it was just an artifact that sat there, but if you flip a coin, you could reflip it once, right?
Well, no, you just flip 2 instead and pick one.
Pick the one you want? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Quark's other thumb. For 2, it's a legendary artifact. It's only uncommon. And if you would roll a die, instead roll 2 of those dice and ignore one of those results. So it's basically the same thing, but here, because the set is dealing with die, you're dealing with that instead. Kark was the kind of goblin who'd lose his thumb in a wager and come right back with double or nothing. And you know what's interesting is this doesn't specify a D6 because, like, the Sword of Dungeons and Dragons has you roll a D20. Yeah. So, hey, now you've got a 2 out of 20 chance.
So the last one that I want to bring up is also in black. Hazmat suit used.
I had thought about doing that one.
For 3 and a black, it's a common enchant creature aura that says enchanted creature gets +2/+1 and has menace, which is pretty awesome. Whenever a player's skin or fingernail touches enchanted creature, that player loses 2 life. So, don't play this against someone with long sleeves, I guess.
All right, Mike, what's your last one?
Okay. It's really hard to pick, but this one I'm choosing just because of how much it made me giggle when I got to the end of it. So, Spell Suck costs 2 blue. It's a common instant. Counter target spell, then assemble a contraption. The flavor text is SUCK.
Because it's spell suck.
Oh, that took too long. Oh.
I started giggling so much when I read the card.
Bad Mike. I mean, it's not your fault, but bad Mike.
Because 6, 7, 8.
Oh, I just saw like 3 more cards I hadn't seen before, but we're done. We're done.
All right then. So, what do we have then? How do we wrap this episode up? How about some final thoughts?
For my final thought, I'm gonna skip ahead of Dirk because I'm tired. But for my final thought, I could go back and reiterate what we've already said, but you know what? I think anything else I would say would be, again, reiteration as far as the community stuff. So I'm going to say that I rented Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales.
And?
Well, okay. So when the first Pirates movie came out, I had zero expectation for it. If anything, I was more looking forward to the Incredible Hulk movie that came out with Eric Bana, and I was like, why am I not liking this? It turned out, I wasn't the only one. So I went into Pirates thinking, okay, whatever, and I loved it. And I dragged my family to see it, and I dragged Carrie to see it, and I was like, I thought it was great. And ever since then, I knew there would never be one quite that good, but I was hoping there would be one that would be good. And then I've been disappointed, and so I had very high hopes for this one, which I shouldn't have anymore, but still, I was like, okay. And it wasn't nearly as bad as some of the others.
Wait, that's the most recent one, right?
That's the most recent one.
I actually really liked that one.
It's probably my second favorite.
Oh, nice.
It's just that I guess I need to accept that it's never going to be, for me, at the level of the first. It's just not gonna. And probably because I didn't know what I was getting into with the first one. Although I recently resaw it, like a couple months ago, recently in the grand scheme of things, and I was still like, wow, I really still fully enjoy this movie.
Well,
so, yeah. It wasn't, Dead Men Tell No Tales, not bad at all, and it made some very interesting choices. I just couldn't get what I wanted. I'm too picky. I guess I don't know. That's it. I'm everything else I've said already. I'm sticking with. There we go. So you gentlemen have a good night. I'm going to sleep. OMG.
Well then, good night, B.
Good night. Purple, apparently.
What? I don't get it.
For my final thought, again, I think we talked about the issue to death and everything, and I'm sure you find lots of it elsewhere. I don't know. This week has sort of been. I just have to get through this week and next week, and then the week after is review for me at the end of the semester. I am so desperately looking for the end of the semester, guys. You have no idea. I don't know what's been going on with me, or if it's the crowd I'm with. But there have been times I really enjoy my job, and there have been times where I just thought, oh my gosh, I just have to get through this day. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this day, but I just have to get through it. And that's what this week has been. Was, oh, how am I gonna get through this day? So I'll leave it at that in terms of the discussion and all. But yes, it has been a rough week. So,
Well,
and with
only
that,
one day left, Dirk. You got it.
I got it. But like I say, it's been a little stressful. And thankfully, my wonderful family, including my 3 little darling children, there is nothing they can do that can top how much my day outside of the house has really just been like,
don't
oh my
challenge,
gosh.
Don't challenge them. Have you met them? Don't challenge them.
Oh, I have, but they're in bed right now, so they can't hear me. So, but yeah, I'm really am just looking forward to the holidays and getting to spend some time with my children and my family, and let work and the world around me, aside from the parts of it that I like, just sort of to go into the back burner and just sort of be not impeding on my happiness. So I'm looking forward to the break. So, and
Nice.
with that, I will bid everyone adieu.
Oh, that's what I had to drink with dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Wah, wah. I'm sorry.
In a row. So, all right. Good night, everybody.
Night, sir. Mike, I have to say I'm disappointed that you didn't read Record Store to everyone. It's not a very interesting card, but it's called Record Store.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. I'd forgotten about it. I think I only read through the contraptions once, and I just kind of forgot about what they did.
Well, they're a strange outside case.
They're very strange.
Mike collects records, by the way, people. That's why. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I also don't think I need to call back too much to what we were talking about at first, but I will say, the second half of this episode, I think, proved that being cool to each other and having fun is infinitely preferable to the alternative. So keep that in mind. But yeah.
Try to imagine playing a card like it that gets left hanging with a group of, with a store full of people that you like and that are all decent and fun.
Yeah.
Or playing it that gets left hanging with a bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
Like people that you don't want to associate with, but you have to because it's the only place to play the game.
Okay, that's a bad example, because if you're playing with jerks you hate, then it that gets left hanging will probably have haste. Think of Gimme 5 instead, and the difference between a room full of people you like and a room full of people you can't stand.
Okay, sure. I'm just thinking, the fun that, like I said, I really want to play it that gets left hanging and yell at someone across the store, dude, give me a high five, and see if they get up and run to me. Because it's that sort of thing that just makes me tickled. To see, Sexy Jared get up, and go back to his desk, go back to his table and sit down.
Gimme 5 was made for pre-releases and draft days. I'm just imagining someone running.
We talked about it. Is that in green? No,
it's in white.
It's in white.
Yeah, it's an instant for a single white. It's an uncommon. You gain 1 life for each person who high fives you in the next 30 seconds. Each player in a silver bordered game who high fives you gains 1 life.
Oh, nice.
The reminder text is offer high fives. Don't hit people.
Oh, and the flavor text: up high, to the side, down low, to the left, other left, over here. Oh, that's great.
And I could just see someone running up and down the rows of a bunch of tables in a shop full of people. It's like, woo, yeah, right there.
But next 30 seconds, go. All right, everybody, high five. Just have everybody's hand go up. You just run down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
1 mana, 17 life seems pretty good. Seems pretty good.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This week's been okay. It always sucks going back to work after a holiday, but whatever. That's just how things go.
Yeah. Oh man. Going back to an episode from several weeks ago, you know what I finished doing this morning?
What's that?
I got caught up on Sinfest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That episode a while back, I started reading Sinfest again, and then at some point my tab got closed. And I realized it, I don't know, a week or so ago. I was like, oh man, I never got caught up on Sinfest. So I went to my history, typed in Sinfest, and just clicked on the last one. And I'm like, yeah, this is where I stopped. And yeah, over the last, I don't know, week and a half, I've gotten current. I've never been current on Sinfest, ever. Even back when I read it in college, I wasn't current.
Yeah, I think he's only missed an update like 3 times ever or something stupid like that.
Wow.
He does it every day.
And it got, like, you were right, the tone shifted a couple
Yeah, there was a
times.
period of time where I almost considered giving up on it, but I started liking it more after a while.
Yeah, sorry, we're talking about the comics as Magic Cards episode. I forgot what I named it. Would Spider-Man have reach? Is that what we named it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, I finished that this morning. I read like the last, I don't know, month or two's worth, and I was like, whoa! I hit next comic, and nothing happened. And I'm like, what? Next comic, and nothing happened. I'm like, oh, what the hell, man? Oh.
What's wrong with this stupid freaking website?
So yeah, it started off really silly and really silly and shallow and kind of embarrassing by today's standards, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into like a political satire while still being silly. And now it's a massive political satire with bits of silliness.
Yes.
But still, all the characters are entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it's very moving.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I found myself looking forward to every time the story would refocus on Criminy and Fuchsia. There were a couple of theirs that made me tear up, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. I think I hijacked your final thought, Mike. Or were you done?
It wasn't going anywhere from there.
No, fair enough then. So anyway, I guess that just leaves me. I would like to, unlike my co-host, reiterate, please just be decent to each other. It's not hard. I don't care if you hate people. Feel free to hate people. I wish you wouldn't, but I can't stop you. But there's no need to go voicing it out loud all the time in public. Just, you're not supposed to be proud that you're a racist, misogynist jerk. You're just not. That's something to be ashamed of. Trust me. It's something to be ashamed of. You're not supposed to, I hate X people and I'm proud of it. No. Unless you hate those people. And then still don't go, I like the whole, ban the Nazis. No, it's the same thing. Just, no. Can we all not just tolerate each other? It's not hard. I worked for a person that I desperately hated for way longer than was normal. And I'm sure he knew I hated him, but I didn't do a very good job of covering it up. But
No, remembering some of the anecdotes you told me, you did not.
I did not, yeah. But still, that was me calling him on his crap, not just walking into his office. By the way, I hate you. No. He started it. So, but anyway, as much as I have said for years that unsets don't do anything for me, this is really cute and really funny and looks like a lot of fun. When is the draft weekend?
Next weekend.
So like the 9th and 10th?
Yeah, don't know whether I'm going to be able to do much. There's some family stuff going on. I'll have to see.
I'm getting back on the 7th. I might be able to make something happen there. I'm not sure.
Cool.
Just because it just looks like so much fun to just experience with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like conspiracy draft. Like I did a conspiracy draft of each of the conspiracy sets just to have the experience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that playing Unstable will be a very similar thing. Plus, it's got really awesome full art tokens. Did you see those?
Oh yeah.
I think
With the special full art on the back. Those are cool.
Yeah. In addition to the tokens created in the set, there are tokens where on one side it's normal magic token like you would expect, like that 33 beast that we've all seen in packs forever and ever and ever.
Right.
And on the back is this massive blown up art, just the art, no numbers, no text, no borders, it's just art. And that's so cool. Aren't those foil too?
I think.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Anyway, so yes, to sum up, try to be decent to each other. You don't have to be nice, just be decent. Being nice is better, but not required. Be decent to each other and enjoy Unstable if you get to play it. And we're very sorry that we won't be, I'm not sorry at all actually, that we won't be recording next week. I'm taking an actual vacation, like going away. I'm not taking any work with me. I'm going to take the laptop so that I can log in and like make stuff public as necessary, like on YouTube, and that's it. Nothing else. And it's going to be great. One more time. So, yeah, with that, we should be done then. So, all the places to find us are the Mana Pool. So there's themanapool.com where you can find the archive of the podcast. And then there's youtube.com/themanapool where I'm playing Cuphead, Hearthstone, Tavern Brawls. Oh my god, Mike, I finished the Lich King fights.
Yeah, I saw.
I got
Great.
Arthas in epic
wait.
fashion.
I can't remember whether I saw your Paladin video.
Oh, you should check it out then.
Maybe.
That one was,
yes, I did.
That one was a struggle. That one was like an hour and 40 minutes or something before I started editing.
I remember now. Mm-hmm.
It was a nightmare, but I did it, and I won in epic I won with style.
So yeah, I remember now.
And yeah, so I'm done with that, just in time for the new set to come out, which Kobolds and Catacombs comes out, I think, the day I get back. So probably on Friday the 8th, I will be doing a live stream pack opening. I think right now it's like 80 some packs.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll grow because I'll have my phone with me on vacation, so I'm still going to play Hearthstone. So I have more daily quests to knock out between now and then, but yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to be doing the usual thing where I open all the packs and review cards as I open them. Yeah. That's on Twitch. Twitch.tv/themanapool. Haha. But I was talking about YouTube. What else? There's Cuphead. Oh, The Typing of the Dead, which is not PG at all. It's hard R. It's leaning towards NC-17. So those videos are not as family friendly as everything else on my channel. But the game isn't either. So rather than try to censor the entire game, I'll just put in warning at the beginning. So if you usually watch my stuff with your kids, and I know some of you do, maybe skip those. Watch them without the kids. They're so great, though. I freaking love that game. And if it sounds ridiculous to shoot zombies by typing words, it is ridiculous. That's the best part. What else? I guess that's it on YouTube at the moment. Oh, I put up another Rogue Legacy video, too. Yeah, you remember that game? I remember that game.
Oh, wow.
That just went up today, so it'll be public in a couple days. Yay. So, yeah. That's what's going on over on YouTube. Like I said, Twitch, where I stream things. Obviously, there won't be any streams for a week because I won't be here. And we also have an Instagram account now, instagram.com/themanapool, where I'm posting random pictures that I take on my drives and thumbnails. Now that I'm done with the Lich King, I think I'm just going to throw all of those up. Just boo, because those actually took a lot more work than you'd think to make those stupid thumbnails. Like, they look really simple. No, I don't understand. I had this idea in my head. I'm like, oh, this will be easy. No. What are there, 9 classes? I guess after like the 5th one, I had it figured out. Anyway. So, yeah. All that fun stuff. And I'm going to shut up now because I'm just rambling. So, Twitter, of course, is @themanapool, and you can send us an email to dorks@themanapool.com. And yeah, the Patreon, of course, is patreon.com/themanapool. It's almost like, we have a brand and we're trying to keep everything consistent. It's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can go to Patreon and check out the early stuff tier where you can get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early. You can get that and the odds and ends, which is all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool. They're uncensored and unfiltered and generally only edited for personal information. Whoops. And if you are feeling extra generous, you can get the early stuff, the odds and ends, and have your name on the end slate for all of the videos that go up during each month that you support at that tier. And I will read your name off on all the episodes of both podcasts. So to that end, a big thanks goes out to Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Paul David, Lands Delicious, Tim U, Hellas Are You, John Morris, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Bertain, Casey, Nathan Hay, AJ Javieres, Cody Buckowing, Jacob Jansens, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, who actually, today I woke up to, Gothic Man has sent you a gift. He got me the pre-order for Kobolds and Catacombs out of the blue, so I could open more packs and make longer content. I was like, thank you so much. So thank you, Gothic. He's also playing Killing Floor with us when we stream Killing Floor. So, there's that. Now we have a full crew, which makes it a lot better. What else? Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, Dan Holm, Mike Millerburn, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Thank you all so very much for your generosity. I quite literally could not do it without you. That goes for all the patrons too, of course, at every tier, even if it's just $1, because every little bit helps, and I really do appreciate it. So, now what? Nothing. That's everything. Ha ha ha! Sorry, my brain just completely shut off there for a second. So, this has been... I already forgot. Hey, Mike, what episode is this?
488.
488.
Right?
This has been episode 488 of the Mana Pool. Thank you all so very much for listening, and be excellent to each other.